our newsmaker HussainHaidry, whose poem Hindustani Musalman has taken social media by storm. Before we speak to him, here's a brief excerpt of that poem that so tellingly describes how he is such an amalgam of different influences.
दक्कन से हूँ, यूपी से हूँ, भोपाल से हूँ, दिल्ली से हूँ, कश्मीर से हूँ, गुजरात से हूँ, हर ऊंची नीची जात से हूँ। मैं ही हूँ जुलाहा मोची भी, मैं डॉक्टर भी हूँ, दर्जी भी, मुझ में गीता का सार भी है, एक उर्दू का अखबार भी है, मेरा एक महीना रमज़ान भी है, मैंने किया तो गंगा स्नान भी है, अपने ही तौर से जीता हूँ, दारू सिगरेट भी पीता हूँ, कोई नेता मेरी नस नस में नहीं, मैं किसी पार्टी के बस में नहीं, मैं हिंदुस्तानी मुसलमान हूँ।
HussainHaidry joining us on the program tonight. Your poem is the new internet sensation, but what made you write this poem? Were you asking yourself questions about your identity, or was it in response to being labelled by those around you?
Hi Ankita. What made me write the poem was essentially, I think I was trying to seek my own identity because it was getting slightly confusing. It was slightly layered, as I probably think it was, and the fact that I was born in Indore, the fact that my mother tongue is Gujarati, the fact that I was reasonably well educated, well traveled, lived in a couple of metropolitan cities, kept adding on a certain layers of identity,
Right, so
and I was trying to reconcile.
Okay. So you're saying
Yeah,
religion essentially is an accident of birth and very little to do with your eventual identity.
I think yes. I think yes, because you don't choose it, right? I mean, like, unless you decide to at a later point of time in your life. But at the time of birth, you do not choose to. So yeah.
But you say the Hindustani Muslim observes Ramzan, he also takes the Ganga Snan. Do you believe that kind of syncretism still exists, or is it getting increasingly more difficult?
I think it does in a way. I mean, because both the communities do coexist. I mean, if you go to smaller towns or even in metropolitan cities, the communities do coexist, and all of them have different forms of coexistence in various states and various cultures, various histories, and I guess that's what makes them different.
So, you know, the lines that stood out for me in your poem was when you say, "Koi neta meri nas nas mein nahi, main kisi party ke bas mein nahi." Particularly in this context with the UP elections upon us, would you say that's a timely reminder for those playing vote bank politics?
I had absolutely no idea that this would come out at this particular time, and this would become relevant in that context, because I wrote it like 4 months ago, and it was only supposed to be performed at some open mics and all. But as a personal statement, yes, I would say that I would not be in favor of any kind of particular party or any make any kind of political statement on that matter as such. So,
but on a more personal journey of discovery, as it were, would you say there was any particular instance that made you want to write this poem?
Not really. As I said, I was trying to answer my own gaps in identity. Like, the only identity I was perhaps able to recognize with at first was the fact that I was a Muslim. But I thought that the other aspect, or the missing aspect of my identity, is perhaps filled up by the fact that I'm filled up by the geographical location of where I'm born, which is the country India, right? So, and of course, I mean, I had the limitation of the. So I understood, like, after I wrote it and everything, that it is quite broad brushed.
Right.
And if you look at it from the lens of Urdu literature, the standards of Urdu literature, or if you look at it from the tone in which it's spoken, or if you look at it from a political adequacy point of view, it might not fulfill a lot of things. But
Well, I think you're being far too modest, because it certainly got
it's-
people thinking and talking.
Yes, yes, and of course, like I have been receiving some kind of critique or feedback or rebuttals to the things said, and I appreciate that as well, because I get to learn. I mean, I came down to Bombay to you know, to learn to write, and I guess after this poem I've realized that I have to write to learn even more. So I guess that's going to help me as much as the appreciation I got.
All right. HussainHaidry, it has been a pleasure talking to you indeed. Thanks for joining us on the Buck Stops here tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's all we have on the show. Keep watching NDTV 24/7.